Well, hello everyone, and welcome to SportsNight. My name is Jonathan Cleary, being joined by Damien Ritchie. Damien, it's been a while since our last show, but we have a lot to talk about here tonight.
Y2K came and passed.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how long it's been since our last show.
It's amazing. It's Y2K. Like, think about that. Like, I believe we were in the same place. And
yes, we were.
And like these cameras. Can you imagine, or like what you're holding in your hand?
Oh, yeah, none of this was no more.
Not even close.
Like no,
not even close.
But yeah, so it would have been like, what is this malfunction of a thing? Then how do you use it and everything like that? So,
so I can
but yeah, things have come
like,
quite a long.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, everyone was so worried about, all the computer clocks going back to 00.
Back then, if I had a time machine, I would go back to that New Year's and like show up in front of everybody at the party and be like, seriously, these computers are garbage. It's like, if these things all break right now, you have no idea what's in store.
Yeah, especially what's coming down the pike pretty soon.
See this phone I have? That's not a phone. Oh, it is.
Yes, yeah, it's ridiculously, but it's
and it's stronger than every computer in this town put together.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, when you think of it, like the first computers were like the size of this room, or actually probably
bigger.
3 times the size of this room, and they said hello, if that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start off tonight talking about the Celtics. I think that's the big news of the day so far here today.
So right now, currently, if you're catching this podcast, we are, it is Tuesday. And
yes, is
2 days before the NBA draft, which will be held at the Barclays Center. Currently, the Celtics, I think, made a bad trade and gave away the first pick overall for the third pick overall, and potential future picks that at best would be the number 2 pick next year. Anything else after that in the next 2 years won't be good. So
I don't have a problem. Well, I don't say I don't have a problem. I don't mind the trade that we did, other than the fact that the number 1 pick is protected for Philly for the next 2 years. If it was, and I heard Felger and Maz talking about this, and I almost never agree with Maserati on anything, but this was the one thing I actually agree with him. And he was saying that if the pick next year, the 18 pick, was protected, fine, but then the 19 pick
shouldn't be
unprotected completely. And that's what I was kind of hoping for, is that we would get an unprotected pick out of this, and to have 2 of those picks protected for number 1. And he was saying there's a scenario where instead of having a top 2 pick or top 5 pick,
we could have like the 15th pick.
Yes,
like
exactly. Yeah. And it's all of that. You traded the first pick for a 15th pick. Now, maybe Josh Jackson appears to be the guy that they're targeting.
So take him first then.
Well, I mean, I guess if you think he's going to be there 3.
My thing is, we don't have roster space. We're hiding guys in the EuroLeague to keep them off our roster. And the first pick overall is extremely valuable in the NBA compared to like other sports. Like the NFL, the first pick is only as valuable as the biggest player coming in. How bad is he in need for your team? Because if it's like a stud quarterback and you have the first pick overall and you have a stud quarterback, that pick is worthless to you.
Right.
And you can trade it for more picks, which become more, worthy, which are worth more. The NBA, the first pick overall is like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Usually, yeah.
And now we traded down. Like he watched too much Belichick. The thing is that the first round pick, if you're trading it, you should either get a stud or potentially another first round pick. The first pick overall. In this trade, that isn't happening. We got a pick and potentially a future, not first pick overall. So it already isn't worth its value.
Yeah, no. I don't have a problem with the trade.
2 ponies don't make a thoroughbred.
Fair enough. I don't have a problem with him trading. I just have a problem with what they got back in return. Like you said, if they had gotten a number 1 or just a top pick unprotected, fine. I'm okay with that, because if you think Jackson's going to be there at 3, then why not take him at 3? Because it looks like Philly was all about Fultz, and they want to take him.
Yeah.
And I'd be surprised if the Lakers don't take Ball.
I wouldn't be.
No? Do you think?
No. I don't know if Ball's game's going to translate into the NBA.
because he's not a great shooter right now, or maybe never will be.
He may never will be. It's one thing too. It's like you look at some guys that their shooting percentage isn't good, but they can still shoot. Like it's smooth.
Yeah.
He's like all herky jerky. So there's all kinds of wrong with him. Look at the only thing I can compare him to is RG3 in Washington, whose father I personally believe destroyed his career because everything Washington ran by him, quarterback coach, mechanics. His dad had to okay it, and he like went through his father for everything. So you already know this kid's got a knucklehead dad. So Magic Johnson himself could come down and say, "Hey, this is how you run a fast break," and his dad's gonna be like, "I think I knew a little something about basketball."
Do you think that's all? I don't want to say all a front, but mostly a front, just because he wants to get his son to L.A. No matter how he does it, he gets to L.A. and then he's okay, fine, he's there now. Now I'm going to concentrate on my other sons. Because especially
it's about him. It's not about his sons.
Well, no, but if
he's trying to like,
can he really try to run over Magic?
Yeah, I can see him trying that.
I can see him when he's talking trash about Jordan, as I could have beat Jordan in 101. He's never going to see Michael Jordan. Obviously, they're never going to play basketball. So whatever, all that is nothing to me. It's just a whole bunch of talk trying to pump up his son more and himself and the sneakers. But I think if he got to L.A., Magic's going to say, "Shut up." He's like, I know more about basketball than anything that you know. I'm putting this team.
I don't know what Lakers fans are like. Okay. But like I use the example of like a Boston Red Sox fan. Like you play under a microscope. I don't know if you're under a microscope in L.A. LA's kind of not like that city, like as a city. Period. So
yeah, I don't know.
Lonzo Ball could come into the league and at best be like, he might have one All-Star season. There's a lot more failures in the draft than there are success stories.
Oh, definitely, especially in the top 5 picks. I mean, there's not a lot of. The past couple of years, the top picks have been good, but they haven't been like the LeBron James guaranteed number 1 pick or Tim Duncan guaranteed pick type of things like that. They haven't been any of those players. And even Fultz is not going to be the LeBron James guarantee.
No.
Or Tim Duncan guarantee. Different players, but
yeah, to be honest, those guys in like when they're in 8th grade.
Yeah.
LeBron James was a freak in like 8th grade on. And they knew from high school like he's going to transition perfectly fine into the NBA. And I look at people like, people knock Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony did 1 year in college, won the championship, and left. So he's going to be able to put up points in the NBA. Like that was like the knock with Fultz was like he's not a winner.
Yeah.
His AAU teams weren't that good. His team wasn't that good. And he got his points, but it's almost like it could be like, like the only decent player in a bad team. Like, of course you're going to get the points. You touch the ball all the time.
This just came through. The Lakers and Nets are going to be making a trade. The Lakers are trading Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell to the Nets for Brook Lopez and the 27th pick in the draft. So I think that helps us. Because Mozgov obviously isn't going to do anything, or he might just be, because they have the cap room. And D'Angelo Russell...
So they're getting rid of a point guard, so they are going to get Ball.
So, I mean,
yeah.
And I think that's good for us for the Nets not doing that great next year either. I mean, Brook Lopez is a pretty good player. So, yeah. I mean, it looks like the Lakers are going to, try to make a play here. And if they're trading Russell,
yeah,
I mean, that almost guarantees Ball. They're going to be taking Ball.
But there's the last thing I saw today, too, was that now the Lakers are directly in contact with the Pacers about Paul George, too.
I think that is, they know he's going to come to L.A. at some point. Let's see if we can get him here a year early and lock him up, sign an extension, but get him for nothing because the Pacers are just trying to hope they get anything for him.
Now, if you were the Pacers, would you say if you're a Larry, would you call Magic and be like, hey, Magic, come on, just give me the number 2 and I'll give you Paul?
That's not going to happen.
No?
No, because they're not going to say, no, I'll just wait a year.
Yeah. So
I think if the Pacers could get...
Then I'll give him to Cleveland. He'll win with LeBron, Magic.
Well, I think, why not? I mean, if Cleveland...
He's going to like that taste of winning.
If Cleveland could offer a couple of draft picks, and I know they don't have a lot of anything great picks...
Well, I saw that Cleveland's trying to move Love.
Yeah, and because there need to be a three-way deal here.
See, here's the thing, Cleveland, which what I don't understand. J.R. Smith is not a stud. Actually, here's the deal, LeBron. Okay, I know J.R. Smith probably thinks is like the Julian Edelman to Tom Brady for you. Okay, he's just all over you, all about you. He probably wears your pajamas at night too. Okay, he's not a winner. He's not going to carry a team. Kevin Love, for as soft as he is and stuff like that, he will pull down 12 rebounds and he can hit shots from the outside. Okay.
Would you rather have Love or Paul George though?
I would rather have Paul George, but you need Kyrie, LeBron, Love, and Paul George to compete with Golden State.
But
you can get rid of J.R. Smith or get rid of your BFF center over there, Tristan Thompson.
See, I think though, Love is like you said, George is a step up from Love, so that might not completely get them to where they need to be Golden State.
So replace this year's roster with Paul George. Take Love out. It doesn't do anything. You still maybe you win one more game and it's 4-2 for a series. No, it's not going to do anything. No, now take away J.R. Smith or Tristan Thompson and put Paul George there. Now that's you have 4 guys that can get buckets, make their own shots, all that stuff. So it's now. But
I mean, does it make them more of a diverse team with George than Love? I mean, Love can hit some threes here and there, and
I think having Love and George make them a more diverse team. And to be real, that still isn't going to compete with Golden State's best. Golden State's best 5, right? When they throw it out there, of Curry, Clay, Durant at whatever position it is. He's 7-1, so whatever he feels like he's doing.
Draymond.
They have Iguodala out there. That's still better than Kyrie, Paul George, LeBron, Love, and J.R. Smith.
Yeah, and Love wouldn't be there.
No, but I'm just saying if you just throw Paul George in the mix there, right? All 5 of those guys I mentioned on Golden State can carry the ball into the offensive zone. All 5 of them can make their own shots. All 5 of them can hit threes.
Right.
All 5 of them have high basketball IQs. They're an insanely dangerous team. That's the best team I've ever seen. I'm gonna say it. I mean, I know we were little kids with those Celtics teams.
Yeah.
But you think Parrish and McHale can chase down those guys?
It's
a different time,
it's such
and
a different game.
I get it.
Yeah, because Bird was a
elbow
great
to
shooter.
the face.
That's the other thing. I mean, obviously those Celtics
Chief would
teams
just swing his elbows.
were so much more physical in that sense. But I mean, if Bird had practiced threes more often, he would be unbelievable at shooting the three.
And let's just say he got the green light to shoot as many as he could. And let's say Bird shoots better than Curry if he wanted to right now.
Right.
That team, like I said, all 5 of those players are just like McHale and Parrish couldn't bring the ball up.
No.
They both had high basketball IQs, and that's fine. But just like the physical ability of that team is ridiculous. It's a video game team. It's ridiculous.
If you took that 86 Celtics team and made them a 2017 team, DJ would be fine bringing the ball up. Shooting the ball, okay, whatever. Ainge, fine, be able to handle a little bit, shoot. Bird, obviously fine in all aspects, except maybe just not very athletic type of player like that.
I think he was gangly, like almost like a Dirk Nowitzki, but I think he was athletic enough. He just didn't look athletic.
He was enough, yeah. I mean, he used his smarts to get away with that. He knew he wasn't going to beat someone down the floor or something like that. McHale, he'd be shooting a lot more threes. He'd be playing a lot more out. I mean, he was good on the low post, but I think he'd be able to develop a game more closer to the 3-point line and facing the basket than having to back the basket the entire time.
The Chief ain't shooting threes.
The Chief probably isn't shooting threes, but I mean, maybe he's developed more of a 15-footer and something along those lines instead of just being kind of a guy down the paint.
His rainbow arc.
Yeah. So, it's so tough to tell with how things have changed. And the biggest thing is the 3-point shooting. It was there, but I mean, it was there for almost 20 years before anyone said, "Oh, we should probably take more of these shots." Yeah. And that was in 2000, even then, it wasn't as a big of a thing as it has been in the past 5 years. I mean, even to 2010, people were taking more threes, but it wasn't as much as it is now.
Even so, 86 Celtics. Let's go to like, what do you think was the best Bulls team?
I'd have to say the 72 win team.
So that would be Jordan, Pippen,
Rodman.
Bill Cartwright. I mean,
No, Cartwright wasn't on those. Luke Longley was on that team.
Garbage already.
Tony Kukoc. And
Kukoc had a shot.
Steve Kerr was on that team.
Yeah, no, not even close. It goes to show you how awesome Jordan was. I mean, and Pippen was an unbelievably good player too, but not even close. I think Golden State would have mopped the floor with them too.
Yeah, because it'd be 2 guys versus 4, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, because Robin actually would play pretty well, I think, in this era. Because, I mean, he was certainly super athletic, could find his way all around different places. I think if he needs to develop more of a shot. Yeah, he would need to develop a little bit more of an offense.
Kukoc was right. What, he was about 6'8", small forward that would just shoot.
Something like that, yeah. So, I mean, he wouldn't be that bad. I mean, again, practicing more threes and more outside shooting for all these guys would have been very helpful. I mean, if Jordan had practiced, 500 threes a day during the summer for one summer, he would have been awesome at it, But
right. Now let's go 2008 Celtics, because they have beaten this Warriors team. Not even close.
No, because Perkins would have been...
had no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, and we even saw that a couple of years ago. Well, that he was older, obviously. And then Rondo is the same thing. We know he can't shoot that well now.
No, yeah. So the only hope would to be kind of like lockdown D, but that's the thing. You can't defend. Like, it's really hard to defend a 3-point shooting team.
So I mean, obviously Pierce, Allen, and Garnett would be doing pretty well. Would you have someone like Posey playing a lot more than he did?
Yeah, or let's just say we give them like what's his face, Rasheed Wallace instead of like Perk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be something you'd be... And the other thing, too, is Wallace was at the end of his career with the Celtics, so you would need to... Bill Simmons was talking about this not too long ago, and he was thinking the 2004 Pistons would probably get this team, that's the Warriors, a pretty good run.
They say that, but no. You know what the 2004 Pistons is? Took away the paint. And that would be like fine. Three. All 5 of them can shoot threes. There's nothing you can do about that. I don't know. I am considering this era of the NBA is like the Cold War. It's like a nuclear arms race. You do not give up any weapon you have. Like, don't give up Kevin Love. Try to get Paul George at him. You basically need to make it went from having 2 studs to 3 studs
to 4.
And I mean, really, now Golden State's kind of making it like 5.
See, but Cleveland can't get 4 because they don't have the cap room to do anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and
whose
fault is that, LeBron?
Well, I mean, you have to look at Golden State. Golden State is such a outlier in all this because they drafted the 3 guys. Yeah. So none of those guys are making completely top
rights, and
they're not making top max money either. I don't know if Thompson's still on a rookie contract or not, or close to it, or I forget where it was, or maybe they signed him early as well.
Going back to that, this is what upsets me too when people like in the Celtics talked about why it's more important to get future picks, because we're not going to be able to compete for another year or two until LeBron is out of the East. Okay, so all the more reason to draft people now and develop them.
Yeah,
like draft Fultz now, then let Isaiah go in a couple years when he's 30, and then Fultz will be coming into his 3rd season, which is usually their breakout season.
Yep,
in their prime. Like, that doesn't make, like, that's such a poor excuse. Like, you look at all, like, Kawhi Leonard, his first 2 seasons, he was okay. You were like, oh, yeah, no, he knows what he's doing out there. But season 3 was, 23 points a night. Which is why we need to get Kristaps Porzingis. 2nd season, the kid's getting, like, 8 rebounds, 20 points. This kid's going to get, like, 10 rebounds, like 25 points a night.
I'm trying to bring up the here we go. I'm trying to bring up the salary here of the teams.
Oh, Cleveland is the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cleveland's salary is so high, it's affecting the Browns.
hold on, let me bring up that because I'll say this: Klay Thompson is not the highest paid player on that team. They're already at next year's salary cap numbers here. So Durant was making 26 this year, so that's the max that he could make. And then Klay was making 16, Draymond was making 15, and Steph was making 12, and Iguodala 11. So I mean that's just like what are you gonna do to? That's why they had so much room they could sign Durant. And then technically Durant is a free agent right now because he has a player option.
Yeah.
But he's going to re-sign that.
Yeah. Everybody's going to do that too because like the Supermax deals are going to go higher after next season, which is also when LeBron leaves. It's also his wife like announced on Twitter that they're living full time in LA now.
Oh, did she?
Like her and the kids, like they're like enrolling in schools and so he's obviously going to LA. He's taking his talents to what beaches in L.A.?
Long Beach.
Well, he's taking his talents.
Muscle Beach.
Muscle Beach, yeah.
Orange. I don't know. There's no Orange Beach. I know nothing about it. Yeah, I'm going to Orange County, yeah.
So he's gone. And then we're going to have to deal with that Greek kid that keeps growing each year. He's already 9'2".
And growing, right?
Antetokounmpo.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
He was 4'2" when they drafted him.
Well, that's growing.
Oh, breaking news!
Bounds.
He just went over.
Screw another 5 inches.
He just went over 10 feet. And he's still playing the one for them.
I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think the biggest thing is the Celtics aren't going to win the championship with Golden State still constructed as they are. I think they have 2 more seasons.
No, but hey,
let's
win the East. I think I'm saying this right now, Danny, and I know he's listening to us somehow. Look, just get that number 3 pick. Just give it to New York. Shut up. I was going to say Pat Riley. Shut up.
Speaking of the 86 Celtics.
Yeah. Shut up the Zen Master out there. Get Porzingis, okay? I know what New York is trying to do. They're going to try to get rid of Noah with Porzingis.
Yeah. With
that contract, or they're going to try to get rid of Melo.
Well, Melo has a no trade, and he said before that he likes playing in New York. That was also one of the things that
I also heard they might buy him out. But I say, you know what? If they throw in Melo, then we say, look, we'll get Porzingis. Just give them the number 3 pick. He's worth the number 3 pick.
Yeah.
And you know what? Throw in Melo, and then they have to take all of our garbage, which is pennies on the dollar for Melo's contract. All right, we keep Melo for a year. Who cares? I bet LeBron would want Melo. I heard that too.
Yeah.
That if he gets bought out, that he wants Cleveland to sign him. And then sign Gordon Hayward. And boom, we are super competitive. We have a bunch of players that fit the mold of Brad Stevens' style of play. We'll probably beat Cleveland with that roster. Golden, and then we'll lose to Golden State Warriors, but who cares? We can go. I don't care for like the Buffalo Bills and we go there 4 years in a row and lose. I just want to have like a legit competitive team in the championship again.
Right.
It's very nice. That was nice in like the late 2000s. Having that little run.
Yeah, but I don't mind how the team's playing now. I mean, I think it's a good bridge team.
The bridge to nowhere.
Well, no, but I mean, if we bring in Butler or George or Porzingis or name somebody else, it's going to be still. Well, he'd be the only player that would be able to maybe
Durant.
Those are 2 players that we'd be like, all right, that gets us really excited.
If you're Durant, at some point, wouldn't you want to leave Golden State Warriors?
Why?
You know what? Because his thing, and I don't care what anybody says. I will say this to Durant's face. It was you, Russell Westbrook, James Harden.
Well, Harden left, get traded, so you can't blame Durant for that.
Yeah, I know, but like you and Westbrook, people argue sometimes that Westbrook is the best player in the NBA right now for what he can do. Okay? Some people argue it's LeBron, some people argue that it's Durant. Okay, for everything they can do.
Yeah.
Either way, 2 of the top 3 players are on your team, right? Why couldn't you win? Like, why did you have to go to a team and be like the cherry on top of the sundae? Why don't you be the ice cream man?
Well, I think it comes back to he just didn't want to play with Westbrook anymore. I think they just couldn't play together.
So come to Boston and like show what you can do.
Yeah, but
Come to Boston, take down LeBron, and everyone will be like, Durant's the king.
could you argue that without Durant, Golden State might not have won the championship this year?
Oh yeah, no, it would have been seven games, and I don't know who would have won.
Okay, so there's a very good possibility that Golden State might not have won.
I mean, they legitimately choked it away last year.
Right. So maybe they would have won, maybe they wouldn't have. Who knows?
So they had to drop the money on the giant Heimlich maneuver.
So you could say that this team was obviously an excellent team. Wasn't a guaranteed to win the championship without Kevin Durant. Durant goes there, and now he's the actual guy that puts them over the top.
Yeah.
So you could say that it was still a smart move because without him, they weren't a guaranteed to win the championship. It would have been a 50-50 shot between them and Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could say, hey, I was still the guy that made us win. And look at the finals. I mean, he was the best player easily in the finals. I mean,
Yeah.
LeBron obviously was unbelievable in the finals too. But, I mean, Durant was probably just a tad better than...
he was. He was the finals MVP. His defense was phenomenal. Offensively, I've never seen Durant play that complete game before. I don't know.
See, I guess I don't have a problem with him going to get... He's going to where his best shot was for win a championship. I mean, we all players do that all the time. They cherry pick where they want to go.
Yeah, no, I know.
And if he had said, I'm going to go to Charlotte because of the money, then everyone's like, oh, you went to Charlotte all because of the money. You should have gone to Golden State. You had a chance to win.
Yeah.
He went to Golden State. He got his money.
He got his ring.
And he got his ring. And now he can come back next year, get his money, and most likely get another ring.
Yeah.
And the year after that, his money and maybe another ring. I mean, he's set up now so he could be there for 3 to 5 years, and every year they're going to be the legit contender for the title.
The only thing that don't sleep on is, so apparently Chris Paul may go to the Spurs.
I've heard that,
which just from that team alone being like the Patriots of the NBA,
yeah,
like that would be a valuable asset. Basically, replace Tony Parker. And personally, what I think would be an upgrade on what Tony Parker was, even in his prime.
Would he do that? I think he'd have to take a pay cut, though. So I mean, now this is the same thing here. You could say, all right, he's taking less money to go to San Antonio. We all applaud that because now he wants to win a championship. What did Kevin Durant do? He got paid, but he went to Golden State too.
He went to a team that was stacked.
So you couldn't say with Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge.
That's just 2.
I guess so, yeah.
Now you're the 3, and it's back to what the modern NBA was, 3 studs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now it's 4.5. Iguodala's I think obviously plays better there as a 6th man. He's getting. I don't even know how old he is now, but he's been around the league for a while.
Yeah, he's been around for a while, yeah. But
when everybody else is worried about the other 4 guys, then yeah, you can get 15 points, no problem.
I guess I don't have a problem with him going. I want to go to a place where I have the best shot to win a championship. For him, that was Golden State. Yeah. Now, obviously, if he'd come to Boston, it would have been awesome for us, obviously. And you add him to IT and Horford and Jaylen Brown or whoever it might be. But, I mean, that's the other aspect, too, is Isaiah Thomas, is he really one of the top 3 guys in your big 3? I mean, right now, sure, he's one of our big 3. But
that's the thing that I keep, and I'm on that, too. I watched him, and I'm like, well, he can get his points, He is a liability on defense. Yeah. Without a doubt. It's weird. Hockey has the plus minus, and you can see there are guys who are studs,
right?
And they get 60 points a season, and they're but their plus minus is negative 12 because they let up so many goals because they don't play defense. They don't have any they're all they're selfish. They don't put their team in the best position,
right?
not that he's selfish, not that he doesn't have like defensive intelligence. It's you're literally 5'9", dude, and you have to cover point guards. Look, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a point guard, and he's 7 feet tall. You know, like he could just shoot over you all day, no problem. You know, and so what if the shooting guard's 6'5", and now you switch off? That's still a big height difference, and it makes a difference. It's like if you could do like, if they made a rule like hockey where you could like change on the fly, and like,
which would be very interesting, by the way.
Yeah, like so IT comes down and Marcus Smart runs in, you know?
Yeah.
Like that would be a great player. Like that would be a phenomenally good player, actually. See, you know what? Like, actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, IT can't win you a championship. He's a great player. He's a great player. He's not a max contract guy.
No.
He would be a great sixth man.
You know, a lot of these people are like, oh, he's been so great for the city and everything like that. He has, yes, but you have to be realistic. I just don't think he's going to be one of the top 3 guys on your team. I don't know if Horford's going to be that top 3 guy either. And I don't think anyone we have right now is going to be that. I really think that if Ainge had said, okay, I have a good bridge team, let's stick with this, and I got Jaylen Brown, and I'm going to get Markelle Fultz or LeVar Ball or Lonzo Ball, excuse me, LeVar
You're
Ball.
really good,
You're getting both, yeah. Lonzo Ball or Josh Jackson, whoever. I'm going to get, say, Jackson now. Okay, I got Brown, I got Jackson, and I have now possibly 2 top 5 picks next year in a draft that everyone is saying is going to be pretty deep and pretty heavy. All right, now in 5 years from now, I got a good team that's going to compete. Golden State has gone away. Klay Thompson left to get money, or Draymond Green left, or whatever it might be. They're spread around. LeBron is 4 years older. Now we're positioned to for us to be the team for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on all those draft picks work out, but I mean, Brown looks like he's going to be a decent player.
Yeah.
And of that top 3, now maybe he's your 3 of the top 3. But still, I mean, we can go from there and find out. I think that would have been the better way to go from there.
My thing too, it's so easy to turn it around. Remember when remember the first time we did this was we always made the playoffs and we would lose, you know, and then Pierce got quote unquote injured, you know. We did our Tankapalooza. We were hoping for the first pick. We ended up with the 3rd. We were hoping for the 1st or 2nd. Remember, he wanted to draft Durant.
Yeah.
We end up with the 3rd. He trades it immediately, and we do the explosion. And we trade a young player to get Garnett. We trade the pick to get Ray Allen, and the next thing you know, we win a championship in a 1-year turnaround. We can still do that, you know. Like, I don't understand why we're constantly building for the future. Just win. Try to win now. Who cares?
Well, I mean, we built to win now with the Big 3 team, and that was a 5-year run, 6-year run. We should have won 2 titles. We didn't. Then we couldn't beat Miami that one time. We had the 3-2 lead and couldn't win at home, and then lost in Miami. I don't know. I mean, and then we had to blow it up, you know, because if not,
no, and
then they were all
they were right blowing it up at that time. It wasn't going anywhere. It was only getting older, but I don't know. No hot takes coming through still.
No hot takes, huh? Well, we'll have to see how things roll and whatever happens. If
are there a lot of good
blinking, let me know.
Are there a lot of good Lithuanian restaurants in Boston?
Okay, say we traded for Porzingis.
Yeah.
What does that give us or leave with us or whatever from there?
If this team right now has Porzingis, we're better than where we were last year. Maybe we win 2 games against Cleveland, okay? Now, we get Gordon Hayward or Jimmy Butler. Now we got ourselves a team. Now Cleveland might not beat us. We probably won't beat Golden State.
Yep.
But we probably have enough firepower to beat Cleveland.
So we trade for Porzingis. So now we have IT.
Yeah. Avery Bradley, Porzingis.
Is this assuming we don't need to trade for anyone, correct? We're just giving up the number 3 pick and that's it? Or are we giving up a player or something like that as well? Well, say, all right, so IT, say it's Bradley.
Yeah.
And then Horford, Brown, and Porzingis? Is that our 5? or starting five.
If that's our five, we'll probably can beat Cleveland twice. You get Gordon Hayward, and I would say we'll probably be able to beat Cleveland. And
that's right. You were saying Hayward possibly too.
And I would say, you know what? To be honest, like I would say IT, maybe even like Brown at the 2.
Jaylen Brown at the 2.
I know he's athletic enough.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for. Remember, Stevens doesn't have positions. He has 4 positions. He has bigs, shooters, wings, and point guards.
I think that's a stretch to have him at the 2.
Why not? He's super athletic. Why not? He's like Dominique Wilkins.
I guess so. I don't know. I think he's too big to be a 2.
Jimmy Butler plays a 2.
Oh, was just there we go. Okay, well, we'll see if we can bring in someone else here to get an opinion on this and other things that
Who's coming in?
that are happening here. Michael Long, you on the line here tonight? Hello, Mike.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Let's see. Hello, Michael.
Hello, John.
How are you, sir?
It's the hotel connection. You're on the road, Mike.
It's international dialing. You know how it goes, David.
Yeah.
How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right. Doing all right. I was running a little late from my other job, I should say. So
yeah.
Not too bad yourself?
Following the team on the beat on the road.
It's tough. You know, it's like there's a lot to keep up with, and it's like I mean, and I'm trying not to become a Celtics beat reporter with all the talk that gets going nowadays regarding that. So,
amazingly enough, that's what we were just talking about.
Pablo Sandoval got an inner ear infection. Is something going around the locker room? You seen guys with sniffles out there?
You know what they do, Damien? They sometimes have to give people a break. They have to put somebody on the DL just because, and he hasn't been doing it. So, and Josh Rutledge, of all people, is a better player right now. So the team needs to play the best guy, and that's not the guy that's making $20-something million a year.
So much money. Is this the end of Pablo in Boston?
I mean, I can't think of another example where they've ever released a guy that has that many years and that much money left. Not saying the Red Sox, but any professional team ever.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, well, he wasn't making that much money.
Could we set up Pablo Sandoval to murder people?
I mean, we could maybe convict him on the Odin Lloyd thing. Just to give justice to
what if you change his last name to Escobar?
That would just be ironic and sad for Pablo because he's not the same type of guy.
So obviously no one's going to want to trade for him. So is this basically we're going to cut bait, eat the money, and say goodbye?
I mean, if he needs a roster spot, you might as well think about it. I would like to hope that what's his name? And I may pronounce the name wrong here. Rafael Devers is a prospect, third base prospect. If he's not at AAA yet, he should be soon. I don't think he'll be ready this year, but I mean that's a third base prospect waiting if Dombrowski doesn't trade him for something.
I know the baseball union, the players' union, is incredibly strong, but don't you think there should literally be like some baseline that if you're physically not able to, and I know he lost weight, but like, if you're like so physically unable to perform like the basic, like, I don't know, like run a mile in 10 minutes or something like that, and then and then you just leave him alone at like a pizza buffet, and then you just set him up for disaster that way, and then that way you can cut bait and he'll eat the bait.
I mean, I think the thing is that with baseball, regardless of whether or not they cut him, it's a guaranteed contract.
No, I know. That's what's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
like
football,
Mo Vaughn
doesn't have that problem.
Yeah, Mo Vaughn tumbled down a dugout, and then the Mets had to pay him for another 4 years. But
I mean, basketball, all they do is all the contract ends up becoming is its own asset. Like they just trade certain types of players because they make certain amount of money, and they have based on what they need to do. Like what the Lakers did today, trading what they did to Brooklyn for one of the twins. I forget the guy's name.
Brook Lopez.
Lopez. Yeah. They basically they didn't want to move Russell probably, but if they're going to take Lonzo Ball, I mean, they had to move Mozgov's contract, and they signed Mozgov to like $1 gazillion, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
But baseball, I mean, if they release them, I mean, they release them. I mean, I just can't think of like a precedent. Like Carl Crawford, we ended up trading. I mean, I know he basically stunk in year 2 of a 7-year contract, and we ended up getting rid of him that way. But I mean, I guess if we could potentially package him somewhere, if they could find the taker, which is, I don't know, doesn't seem likely right now. He's not really doing anything.
So it seems like, maybe they're gonna give him another shot off the DL, or is this just, okay, we're done with you. We're gonna say it's a inner ear infection or whatever they're technically calling it, and be done with it. I know Maserati today was saying that he thinks they might give him another shot after the All-Star break, but I mean, is it even worth it? Is it just stick with what they have?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what Rutledge has been doing from a offensive standpoint, but I mean, if he's been playing, I mean, you need defense there. He's not. Sandoval's not good in any facet of the game right now, unfortunately. So I guess you could try to like slot him in here and there. They'll probably keep him for at least another month. I mean, we're going to eventually be up on the trading deadline. I think we're close enough to that where you probably wouldn't release him at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, maybe they'll do something. I mean, maybe they'll package him with like some prospects we haven't traded yet for another middle reliever that won't actually play for us. Yeah, I'd like to see them. I mean, they're contending now too. I mean, like they were tied for first the other day.
Right.
I mean, it's now late June, so that's kind of a thing.
What's the temperature like in the locker room with Farrell amongst the players?
Oh, the things that I know.
This is why we hire you, Mike, because you're not afraid to speak the truth, because we know the players have your back and you don't care about the management.
You signed a good paycheck, Damien. I'll admit that. I would say that based on other sources that I know that it wouldn't be a big loss if they lost him, but literally they seem to tread water enough to keep him around. So it's not like they're completely quitting on the guy, where they just completely bought him out and then they just need somebody else to get in there. I mean, I said as mean as it sounded a couple of years ago, his cancer diagnosis saved him from getting fired, along with the GM at the time, Charrington.
Yeah.
I think the both of them deserved it. It's like a technicality. I mean, much like, even though I hated them getting rid of, in retrospect, getting rid of Terry Francona, it was a technicality based on how the team was. It's like you generally always make a move with the manager.
Yeah.
They brought in Lavello, and they did great the rest of that year.
And he's doing pretty good in Arizona right now.
I was just going to say, aren't they like first place, maybe? Did I hear that?
Arizona they're a game behind Colorado for first place.
Yeah. I mean, not to say he was like a prodigy manager, but we had him as a bench coach forever. I think they gave him a 1-year contract last year as like, and I think they were paying him manager money, potential like interim manager money.
Right.
And then they just let him walk, and they picked up an option for Farrell. It's like the ownership made a move to go get him from Toronto at the time. I mean, so clearly they like the guy, but he's definitely frustrating. He's definitely, just by listening to his post-game press conferences, he does not instill any sort of like fire in me. Listening to, I'm not sure how he really, I don't know what the players would say. Players wouldn't say anything publicly, but
let me ask you a question.
I don't think they would necessarily.
If you had a big wooden box with a hole in it, okay, and inside was a delicious candy bar, and now John Farrell can fit his hand in the hole, but if he makes a fist and grab the candy bar, he can't manage to get his hand out in the candy bar until he lets go of the candy bar and not have a fist, right? Are you picturing this?
I'm trying to.
It's what they use to capture baboons, because they won't let go, and they're too stupid to know not to let go. I'm just wondering, if you make that box, I'm wondering if you could trap John Farrell with, like, I don't know, whatever, the Snickers, a Three Musketeer.
A baseball,
signed by some mediocre pitcher.
Like is something inside the box that takes out a pitcher with an appropriate pitch count. It doesn't it doesn't overuse Kimbrel.
Yeah, it says something like a guide to being a manager in Boston. Something along those lines.
So he doesn't know that will he think he's trapped, or does he just do you think he has enough sense to let go?
I mean, I think it's going to be. I don't think he has the sense. I think he's an average manager. He's not a terrible manager. He's not a great manager. He's just like. I mean, I think I don't know what his overall record is, but it's got to be around 500 on the nose, I would imagine. He's like literally an embodiment of just being average.
Mike, do you think it's Dombrowski that doesn't want to get rid of Farrell, or is ownership telling him you can't get rid of Farrell?
Well, they're not going to get rid of Farrell now if they're a half game behind first place. I mean, they're only almost 10 games over 500, which kind of is surprising. I kind of expected them to be more towards 500 the way the season has felt like. But they're not going to... I don't know. Baseball, I don't really feel like they fire a manager if the team's in the hunt. I mean, they do it if they're definitely like completely underachieving, and we're not. I don't know. Like we're not like obviously blowing the rest of the league away, but I didn't really, even though like the team was like predicted to do that, I didn't really think they were going to do that either. I mean, I'm not surprised by where they're at. Maybe I thought them they'd be a little bit better.
Yep.
But not like like Houston level by any stretch of the imagination. Houston's 47 and 20 something right now.
Yeah, something along those lines, yeah. And by the way, Farrell is 500 and 484 in his career, so just above 500, yeah. So, all right, well, Mike, I know you're short on time tonight, but we appreciate you taking some time to call in and giving us some baseball talk here and giving all the good people of Quincy the inside information that only Michael Long knows.
I always appreciate the opportunity. What do you guys think is going to be the pick? Is it going to be a pick or is it going to be a trade on Thursday?
I think they're going to take Josh Jackson.
And I'm hoping that they trade it for Crispus Porzingis.
Oh, God. That rumor has been around a lot today.
I hope they do that, too. I just don't think that's going to happen. I would love to have Porzingis here, but I just don't see that happening.
Phil Jackson, you can get him stoned and make that pick. Right. It's so easy. Danny Ainge can fly over. He's in New York, and he can just say, like, no, I'm Mormon. I don't do that. Keep going, breathe it in, Mr. Zen Master. And then, how you go? How about a future pick in the 2025 draft for Porzingis?
Somebody get Damien to New York.
Yeah. All right, Mike, thanks again, and we'll talk to you down the line.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, thanks. All right, we want to thank Michael Long for calling in here tonight. Talk a little baseball.
No basketball insiders calling in?
I'm going to see if our insider is available right now.
Okay.
And see if he's going to be able to call in or not.
He's not at a game?
I don't believe so,
Participating? This is, and now the rumor mill is dying down in basketball. And other than that, breaking news of the Lakers trading their point guard and Mozgov, whatever.
Yeah, Mozgov and Russell.
That's
Mozgov, yes. Yeah. Margov or something like that.
And D'Angelo Russell to the Nets. Because the Nets cannot make a good trade to save their lives.
Well, so is...
Thanks, Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think this helps us.
Yeah.
I mean, this helps Boston, because I don't think with Lopez, they would have been better this year. And, he ended up being hurt. And then,
has anybody considered trading Pablo Sandoval to the Nets?
Maybe. Who's their only good for D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah. I bet D'Angelo Russell could play third base. He has good lateral movement.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Quite possibly. But, I don't know. I just don't. Who knows? I mean, I don't know what the Nets are doing there other than just trying to get above the cap floor. Because I think, you have to be above so much.
What can you
do?
What can you do? You destroyed yourself. You gave away all your future picks. I think 2019 is when they finally have a draft pick, right?
Yeah, because we have their pick next year in 2018. So, and I'm pretty sure they have a 2019 draft pick. I just don't know. They might trade it to be somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me see this out of curiosity.
So while we're waiting to see if our insider is going to be calling in on some Quincy information or news and notes, Porch Fest is coming up this weekend. Did you attend last year?
I did not attend last year because it was only in Wollaston, and I am well aware what Porch Fest is.
Yes.
And I have a personal philosophy that Porch Fest should be walkable from your residence, or else you don't attend. So Wollaston is not walkable from my residence. Thus, I did not attend. But now that it's in Marymount, I will very gladly. I believe on the 21st they will release. So that will be tomorrow. They'll release like the houses,
the
and
locations,
the schedules.
yeah.
And we might bike around Marymount.
So last year,
or stroll, or maybe even pull a wagon with the kids.
Last year, I drove to Wollaston.
Yeah, see,
and it wasn't that bad. And then from there, we walked around everywhere in Wollaston.
Yeah.
So we were, a couple blocks down from the Wollaston school to a couple blocks up, or however you're looking at it. We went up the hill and we went down towards Montclair area.
Yeah.
But it was very good. Now I saw that it was in Marymount. It's gonna be from 4 to 8 in Marymount. And
perfect.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna be able to get up at some point on Saturday.
Yeah.
To walk around. And see exactly the locations and whatnot.
We will be there. Are you walking around with the family or?
Yeah, I'll probably be walking around with the family.
So we should plan something. Then.
So yeah, my wife and I mentioned to her, and she said she'd like to go, but the past few weekends we've also been out of the house almost every single moment of the weekend.
Yeah.
So we're thinking it might be nice to try to be home for a little bit as well and get some things done.
This will be see. This is a nice. Tomorrow's my last day of school. I have a couple weeks off, and then I do summer school, which isn't that taxing by any means.
Yep.
But this is we've been meaning to get out on the weekends. Oh, do we have our NBA?
We will see right here. And we should have our NBA insider on the line, Seth McLaughlin.
At the Barclays.
Seth, how are you?
Ahoy, hoy, gentlemen!
How packed is the Barclays Center right now? I know it's a couple days ahead of time, but
yeah, I mean it's not at capacity yet, but it's certainly
at the hotels, everybody's down there.
I had to stay about 30 minutes away just because I couldn't get a spot.
All the who's and what's are.
So you're in Manhattan, not in Brooklyn, then?
I'm in Manhattan. Yeah, I booked my hotel about 6 months ago, and even then, it was a nightmare just to get around that area.
What buzz are you hearing from the other GMs? I know you can't mention names. I know that's part of your thing that you can't say which GM said what. Your media people.
According to my Boston inside source, Danny Ainge, he said that the Lakers actually just made a trade. You guys discussed that yet?
Yes, we did.
A little bit, yeah. We were waiting for you to talk more about
this paves the way for Lonzo Ball.
So from what I'm hearing, that all but locks in Lonzo to L.A.
Yep.
On a Boston perspective, what Danny was worried about is that this is now going to seriously jeopardize our chance to get a top 5 pick coming from either L.A. or Brooklyn.
See,
both
I think
franchises got appreciably better.
See, I think this helps us because I'm not convinced D'Angelo Russell is that great of a player.
I'm not convinced Lonzo Ball in his rookie season will do much.
Oh, so you guys are both wrong. That's interesting.
I think this helps L.A. more than it helps Brooklyn. I mean, I think Russell's a good player, but I don't think he's going to be that great. And then there's no one around him in Brooklyn to help him to do anything.
Right, but what this shows us is that Brooklyn is willing to make trades in order to help their team for both the immediate and future. I said this to Damien months ago, that Brooklyn is not going to watch Boston get a number 1 pick 2 years in a row off of their back. They got burned by that Billy King trade, and they are convinced that they're not going to let us reap the benefits of that for years to come.
I agree they're going to try, but I just don't see them being successful in that attempt, especially trading Lopez.
Well, you forget that when they had Jeremy Lin last year, if he doesn't get hurt, they were on pace to win 30 games.
Fair
enough. It wasn't until he went down that it really hit the fan for them. So I think it shows that any capable point guard running that team, which was full of, serviceable NBA players. Look, you have to be really, really bad to win 10 games. You have to be Philadelphia before the process bad to win that few games. And that's what Brooklyn was last year, certainly. So to just assume they're going to get there again, I think is short-sighted.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're going to win 10 games or 11 games, but I just don't see them. I can see us having a top 3 pick next year or a top 4 pick. And again, Brooklyn's going to, like you said, they're going to try to win because they have no incentive to lose this year. But I just don't see them having the talent to have, a team that's, going to be in the 10th, 11th, 12th pick of the draft.
Well, so here's where I think that they're able to make up that talent gap. Brooklyn is able to take on any and all contracts to even improve just a little bit, which is why they were willing to take on Mozgov. So I think what we're going to see is Brooklyn telling other teams, you want to get rid of bad contracts? Bring them to us. We will take those bad contracts along with a good young player. So you want to try to get out of cap hell? We're your team. We are your trade partner. But you got to make sure that you give us something in return because, like you said, they have nothing to play for this year.
Well, They just traded for Pablo Sandoval.
and how many ice cream sandwiches are coming over on that deal?
All of them.
So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, I forgot about Jeremy Lin, and he had been playing pretty well for them last year. And then, like you said, he went down, and then it went all downhill from them. I don't think they're going to be necessarily the worst team in the league, Am.
No, but we might get the third pick. You know,
I could see us in good contention for a top 5 pick, and going from there. But
yeah, I think probably between 2 and 5 is where we're going to be for both of those.
That's fine because Danny doesn't like the first pick overall.
Yeah, that's obvious. That's what he's told me.
All right. So, what's your take and your feeling on trading down from 1 to 3, and then also on the number 1 protections on those draft picks as well?
All right. So that's a 2-part question with a 2-part answer. The first part is, moving down was the right thing to do in this particular draft for this. But the second part of that, what we got in return was crap.
Yeah.
We lost the second part of that trade. So the first part was the right thing. The second part was where it went off the rails for us.
Now, if the trade had been next year's Philly pick, I'm sorry, next year's pick is...
No, I don't want anything to do with any Philadelphia picks because that team will be in the playoffs next year.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. It's the Lakers pick next year. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say.
So
if the Lakers pick was protected, but then the Sacramento pick wasn't protected, would you have been okay with that?
No. As soon as the word protection comes into the fold, that's when Danny needs to hang up the phone.
So it would have been LA's pick next year no matter what, and then done?
Yeah. Or maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Would you have done just that, or would you have done just Sacramento's pick in 19?
I think, okay, so from what I'm hearing, from what I'm reading, from what I'm being told, Danny doesn't want the LA Lakers pick this year. He wants Sacramento's pick in 19. They're going to be a worse team than the Lakers are going to be this upcoming season.
Yep.
Which is probably true. Looking at that roster construction, Sacramento is going to be horrible in 2019. The problem is they're probably going to be number 1 overall horrible in 2019. So if I'm Danny, I would have been very happy with the Sacramento 19 unprotected and a player, maybe, Saric or Holmes, somebody along those lines. A young, good player, someone that can rebound, someone that can score.
We don't like rebounders on the Celtics.
Well, so the other thing that I've heard is that the reason that Saric and Holmes, 2 players, or Covington, a few players that Boston has liked in the past, what I'm hearing is the reason they didn't come over or weren't part of the trade is because the Celtics are very conscious of keeping their cap space flexibility, and they didn't want to take on any future contracts.
So then in that case, why not just say, all right, I want Sacramento unprotected, done. Forget about the Lakers pick if it's 2 to 5 or anything like that.
I think because of what Damien said, Danny doesn't want the first overall pick. I think it's just one of those.
I honestly feel Danny doesn't want the first overall pick.
Yeah, no, I think that's not far from the truth.
He's used it as an excuse in the past, where he's like people complain about stuff, and he goes, "Hey, we never got the first pick overall." Now he gets it, and the first thing he does is get rid of it. This trade will make or break Danny Ainge. Period.
Yeah, one thing Danny has said from the start of this offseason is that there are multiple players that could benefit the Celtics, or the Celtics could benefit from having. So I think he's very conscious of never putting all his eggs in one basket. And I think that's kind of what you do when you have the first overall pick. You say, if this isn't the guy, then we're screwed. So what Danny has essentially done is he's given himself 2 or 3 swings at finding the guy. The problem is, as everyone knows, Danny isn't great on taking those swings. So
my thing is take this pick, give it to New York, get Porzingis. Get Porzingis by Thursday, and you hit a home run. You got a 22-year-old, 7'11" stud that can drain threes from Lithuania
and dribble past any point guard.
So what are the chances of the Knicks? Obviously, Jackson could do anything because he's willing to do anything because he's stupid. But do you think that's really true talk, or is it just a bunch of talk down in New York that Porzingis is on the block?
Oh no, I think
Porzingis
it's
said
true.
He doesn't want to be there.
I think it's true, but I also think that you're probably looking at a max of 50% that it actually happens. I 100% believe that he's on the block, but I'm not convinced that he's going to get moved. It's so hard to move a player of that stature.
You give them the 3, you give them what we got for the 3 from Philly, and give them like our 2000. Keep the Brooklyn pick next year, and then give them our first round.
So with New York, what's challenging with them is that they are in cap space hell.
Right.
So it's not going to be give us Porzingis, we'll give you our picks, and then we shake hands. It's going to have to be take Porzingis
and you take Noah or Melo.
Noah's horrible contract, maybe plus a third team to get rid of Melo's horrible contract, plus all your picks. So I don't think there's any way you can do a team-on-team trade. You're going to have to get creative.
Then do it. Take on a bad contract.
Do it. Yeah, I agree. Do it.
Porzingis is unbelievably good. He's worth doing all that for.
So Noah and Porzingis for 3 next year's next year's Lakers and/or Sacramento pick and
the bad contract.
I mean, and probably a future Boston pick. I mean, give him 18 Boston if you want.
Who cares? Who cares? Do it. Porzingis is going to enter his 3rd year. He's going to get 28 points a night and 10 rebounds.
Well, right, but again, you have to probably find a third partner to take on some of those other contracts. Phil is not going to just partially rebuild the team. If he's going to do it, he's going to start from the ground up.
So then he's
going to try to get rid of all of those contracts.
So then if we need to find another team to take on some of the contracts, then that means we're going to have to trade more picks to either the New York or team number 3.
That's why you get picks.
So or we're going to have to trade some of our great contracts to do it, because a team like New York is going to covet somebody like A.B. Bradley who's making cheap money for at least a year, or Jay Crowder. And I agree, you can have all those players. It's just a matter of, finding the right partner.
So scale of 1 to 10 or percentage-wise, however you want to rank it, what do you think the chances of Porzingis coming to Boston are as of we stand right now?
I think it's as high as 50%. Like I said, I think it's just if you can find the team to make it happen, then they will make it happen.
What are your thoughts on the talk of either Paul George or Jimmy Butler coming to Boston for something else, or I guess Butler might be the more realistic player?
Well, apparently the most recent thing was that Chicago offered Butler for the 3 straight up, and we declined it.
Yeah, I think Danny is smart enough to understand that Butler doesn't put you over the top. And even if it does make you competitive and you somehow win the East, you're still getting smoked in the West. So just to add that type of contract, even though he's young and even though he's making relatively good money,
he's not that young.
It's just not enough. We're something that's become very clear to me and to probably most Celtics fans is we're looking at like 2020, 2021 before we really start to see where this team is headed.
Right.
So these next 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons, we're just along for the ride.
And this is what aggravates me. If that's the case, okay, Isaiah Thomas is going to be invalid at that point.
Right.
And so why not get Fultz now?
Because they don't think. Because the bottom line is they don't think Fultz is the guy, and that's where this all comes from. If Fultz in the Celtics' eyes, if Fultz was the transformative guy, then they take him. But they don't think that.
Then get Lonzo Ball.
They don't see number 1 being any different than number 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Then it doesn't matter.
When Ainge said that the player that we want is going to be at 3, so we made the trade anyway, do you think that was him just trying to blow smoke up everybody, or actually they really think Jackson's going to be there and that's who they want, so why not trade it?
Well, it's not Jackson. I think it's Isaac.
Okay.
I think it's Isaac. He's one of those workout warriors. His immeasurables are off the chart. I think he's just the perfect Danny guy. A lot of people have said Tatum might be the guy. just because of his instant ability to score on offense. The only problem with Tatum is I think that we've seen his upside already. I'm not sure he's going to get better than what he already is. I mean, if he comes in now, he's probably winning Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
He's probably scoring 20 points per game. But that's probably what he's going to be his entire career. But a guy like Jonathan Isaac, he's one of those, 7-foot guys with a 7'5" wingspan, jumps out of the building. He's going to be an all-NBA defender. He looks like he could be good on offense. He can shoot three. He's just what the NBA is moving towards. And if I had to guess, I would say that's who the Celtics are targeting. You don't need to bring in Ball. You don't need to bring in Fultz if you think you're going to sign IT for the next 4 or 5 years.
All right.
So,
sorry. Go on.
Well, so I was just going to say, to get back to the number 1 pick, I think that's the reason why we punted on the first round pick. The Celtics and Danny just don't believe that there's that guy that's going to take them over the top. And if you're not going to get over the top now, why wouldn't you try to get 2 or 3 players, in the future?
No, I agree. I think that's a lot of people agree that, they don't have a problem trading down, but it's just what they get in return. Especially, like you said, the protections is what really, I think, is killing a lot of people around here. That
It's so bizarre. It's such an un-Danny thing to do to not even... seemingly nobody knows. We're never going to find out, what happened during those talks. But just it seems like Philadelphia said both picks are protected, and Danny just said, "Yeah, sure, make it happen." And it just that's so bizarre.
Because even if he doesn't want to take him,
history.
if he even doesn't want to take the number 1 pick, it handcuffs him because now he can't trade the number 1 pick because he won't even have it. So, because we see he could do that, right now, but. Anyway, all right. I know you're on a tight schedule, Seth. Last thoughts of what might happen here. Any other big trades you think are going to happen before the draft or immediately after, or you think everything's going to stay pat as is?
No, I think there is going to be a lot of movement on draft night. I think that you are going to see Kevin Love get moved. Word from around the league now is that Phoenix has emerged as a pretty strong contender to get Kevin Love. I know they have a ton of young assets. I don't really know why Kevin Love would be on their radar, but from what I'm reading and from what I'm hearing, is that there's really strong interest between them and Cleveland. I think that Paul George is going to end up in Cleveland. I don't see why the Suns would be the number 1 contender to get Kevin Love. I think it should be Paul George. It makes the most sense for Cleveland to get Paul George, but Indiana seems so unwilling to deal him for almost anything. It's bizarre. Indiana missed the Paul George sweepstake. I don't know what they were thinking. He's made it clear since day one that he wasn't going to resign in Indiana long term.
Right.
But they just stood pat. And I think the belief was always that Indiana has this, winning culture, that they're not ever going to... Indiana doesn't tank. That's not what they do. They never go to the bottom of the league. They're always find themselves in the playoffs, and they do pretty well in the draft, and that's how they maintain their franchise. And I think, there was a fear. It's probably that Larry Bird competitiveness that says we're not tanking. Now that he's gone, should they have moved Paul George at the deadline? Yeah, they probably should have. I think that's what they should have done. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Phoenix making moves, especially now. I know that they were high on Ball.
Yeah.
They thought that Ball was going to fall to them, and to be honest, he would have been a perfect fit in Phoenix for that offense. It would have been the rebirth of the D'Antoni offense. He fits so well there. So now that it seems like the Lakers are committed to taking Ball since they moved Russell, I think Phoenix, for lack of a better term, pulls a panic move, and I think they find themselves a good player.
All right. Well, it'll be certainly interesting to see what happens as draft day comes upon us, and we'll all have to touch base after draft and decompress everything as well. So, Seth, we want to thank you for calling in. Again, you're on a tight schedule, and we will talk to you later on, sir.
All right, fellas. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks. You
Bye.
too. All right. So,
give me your final prediction, John.
I still think now Seth's a little bit more in the no than I am. So whether they take Jackson or somebody else, I don't know. I think they're going to draft at 3. It's just a question of who they take. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think the Celtics are going to trade. I don't know for who or what. I think they're going to trade that pick. I do think the Lakers are going to somehow end up with Paul George before Friday.
I could certainly see that because I could even see, if Seth said, if the Cleveland can get him, and they're like, you know what? If we lose him after 1 year, fine. But we think we can beat Golden State with him instead of Kevin Love for whatever reason, and they're gonna do that, and they make him a more dynamic team somehow, and then they can reassemble some other players somehow or something. Who knows? But
Supermax to Kelly Olynyk.
All right, well, I think it's time for us to get going here as well. We want to thank Mike Long and Seth McLaughlin for calling in, and maybe we will see you this weekend, Damien, at Porch Fest or something else around the city. We'll see what happens.
I'll be playing my harmonica.
Excellent, man. All right, well, again, from Mike and Seth, for Damien, my name is John Caleri. Thanks for watching Sports Night. We will see you next time.